Oh, look at that little pig hiding right there. I'm moving our 6 breeder pigs and 8 babies into a half-acre paddock full of cover crops. Right now I'm waiting on the water to fill up in this water tank so I can set up the water, and then I'm going to walk you through the process of setting it up. Hopefully the rain and dark won't catch us before we get it done. After I move the pigs into this paddock, I'll show you how I calculate how much feed that I think the pigs will have in this cover crop field. But first we need to set up the water tank. I like to set the water tank up first so that the pigs will have fresh water when they first move into the paddock, and will find it when they walk around it. I don't know if you can tell, but the water is moving very slowly into this 70-gallon trough here. It's about an inch and a half deep on this end. I've been running for about 10 minutes. I'm going to go on and turn the pigs into this paddock. So this is the forage I'm moving the pigs into. Now I cut this right here about 6 days ago, and it's regrown. The sorghum sudangrass is about 1 foot high. It was cut at about 6 inches with my 0-turn mower. And then these cowpeas, I'm really shocked at how well they're performing. They've really started putting on some regrowth after cutting. I'm real pleased with these Red Ripper cowpeas. Interestingly enough, one of the first things pigs do is they walk around the edge of the field just to see what their area is. See, the first thing they're doing is coming over here checking out the water. The pigs have a total of about 6/10 of an acre, maybe less, maybe a little bit more, but only about half an acre is actually in thick cover crops. I've mentioned it before, but the cover crop mix in here is sorghum sudangrass, that's the tall grass. There is some hybrid pearl millet in here, although I don't see much coming up right now. There's also cowpeas, forage soybeans, and then buckwheat. The buckwheat is at an interesting stage. You can see that it's starting to form those little seed heads right there. Some of it is starting to develop harder seed. On the edge of this fence, there's some chicory. Midnight right there is eating the chicory. She's one of the first ones to go to chicory in a pig paddock, and I'm assuming it's because of not just the nutrition. It's high in protein, but it has a lot of micronutrients as well. It works really well in grazing systems. Unfortunately, the chicory is just on this edge of the paddock here, but you can see that she's just devouring that. And now this Berkshire is trying to figure out what she's eating, and she's learning to eat it too. Ferdinand, the boar over here, is eating some of the seed heads of the buckwheat. Oh, Midnight just tore up a sunflower plant. It's not in seed yet, it hadn't even flowered, and she's eating on the sunflower. This is the thinnest area of the paddock, and it's only about 1/10 of the size of the paddock, so not much size at all, but it's just got more grasses in it than it does the actual higher nutrient cover crops. Annie's the Mangalitza farthest away from me. This Berkshire that's horizontal closest to me, that's eating these buckwheat seeds, she's looking pretty good. She's gained some good weight. Annie is over here with her babies. Annie's underweight right now. I'm going to have to get these piglets off of her pretty soon, I think, so that she can gain back some more weight. She's just not getting enough concentrated feed. Oh, look at that little pig hiding right there. I'm betting that they'll have close to a week's worth of good forage. I could keep them in here longer, but they've got a lot of forage in this paddock. But what I want to do is come back over here after I get the fence set up, if I have time, and just see if I can calculate roughly how much feed value there is in this 4/10 of an acre. And what I plan on doing is cutting a couple square feet, 5 square feet, something like that, weighing it, then kind of calculate how much dry matter there is based on the types of forages that are out here, and then get a rough estimate of actually how much dry matter feed there is in this paddock. One thing that's really important to notice, when you have a sow in milk, she just demands a lot more nutrition than they can get out of this cover crop. She needs dry feed supplementation. These other pigs do not. These other larger pigs, the sows and all, they can get by with supplementing the vast majority, if not all, of their stuff from high quality pasture. They have larger stomachs, and we'd only be feeding them 4 to 5 to 6 pounds of grain per day. But a sow in milk really needs the equivalent of 10 or 15 pounds of grain per day. One thing people often forget about when they're feeding fresh forages or even things like pumpkins is that the weight of the feed is not very high compared to the nutrition. Grains are roughly 10% moisture or less. If the dry matter of these forages is only 15% of the total weight of their green feed, then that's 85% water. What that means is that if we feed 50 pounds of this green forage, that's the equivalent of 7.5 pounds of dry matter grain. Now that does not mean that it's all in the right amino acids and vitamins and minerals and everything else, but just in terms of dry matter feed, it's only about 7.5%. So it's important to remember that those things play a huge role in what we're doing. Anyway, I'm going to go finish putting up this fence and then see if I can get a weight estimate of these cover crops. So the first thing I'm going to do is tear this bucket and just see how much it weighs. 4.8 pounds. So you can see that I cut these at roughly 3 to 6 inches above the ground. My goal is to graze this a good bit higher, but you can see that, oh, there's Ferdinand coming to say hello. But you can see that the forage here is pretty thick. It's much thicker in some areas and not quite as thick in others. But what I'm going to do is go weigh this. The scale is still tiered. See the minus 4.8 pounds. So that should cover the weight of that bucket. So anything that it registers now should be just the weight of this forage in this bucket here. It's reading 3.5 pounds. Y'all, I'm sorry for the bad lighting. The darkness has caught me here. But to just summarize what I'm calculating the weight of this paddock, cover crop paddock here, is that right now as it stands, I did about 10 square feet of the paddock. I weighed the forage out of it and it's 3.5 pounds. So on 20,000 square feet, I actually walked around the paddock and it was 0.53 acres of cover crop, but some of it's a little thinner, some of it's a little thicker. I'm just playing it conservatively and measuring it at 20,000 square feet. 1 acre is 43,000 square feet, so I'm going a little bit less than half an acre. So of that 20,000 square feet, there's roughly 3.5 pounds of forage in 20,000 square feet. So that'll be about 7,000 pounds of green forage. But remember, green forage is not actually feed value because we've got to calculate the dry matter content. The dry matter of this crop material is going to be roughly 15%. I'll look it up and correct it if I'm wrong. But if it's 15%, that's about 1,050 pounds of dry matter feed equivalent. So that's about 1,000 pounds of grain. Now that's not 1,000 pounds of grain that's well balanced, but it's just 1,000 pounds of grain. I'm calculating that the pigs will eat about half of it, maybe a little bit less. If I'm feeding these 6 pigs about 6 to 10 pounds of grain per pig per day, that will get me roughly 10 days worth of forage value out of this cover crop if they leave half of it standing so that it regrows very well. I'm not sure what it's going to do. We'll just have to wing it, but I figure I'll keep the pigs in here a week and just see what happens. I hope you enjoyed this video. Take care, have a great day, and we'll see you next time.